What are some expensive mistakes that cost a fortune to fix? Number 1. The submarine that can't resurface. Year, 2013. Location, Spain. Company, Navantia. Estimated damage value, $2.2 billion. You don't have to be a certified genius to know that a submarine has to do one thing above all else: float. Despite paying over $2.2 billion to create a new, state-of-the-art Isaac Peral submarine back in 2013, the Spanish government didn't even end up using it because of this very expensive mistake. It turned out the submarine was so incredibly heavy that it couldn't float properly. Engineers got to work and figured out there was a miscalculation somewhere along the line. Thankfully, the design didn't make it to the manufacturing stage, but it still cost the government a crazy amount of money. The hiccup garnered so much attention it was featured on numerous news outlets, including Fox. The problems didn't end there, either. When engineers rectified the issue, they made the entire thing bigger. There was only one issue. No one thought to look at the port. Once the submarine was enlarged, it no longer fit inside, resulting in even more red faces on Monday morning.
Number 2. Trains too big for the station. Year, 2014. Location, France. Company, RFF gave the wrong dimensions to SNCF. Estimated damage value, $68 million. 2,000 new trains that cost in excess of $20.5 billion hit the railways back in 2014, but there was a hitch. They were far too wide, or as some outlets like the BBC dubbed them, too fat, to safely squeeze past each other on the rails. The mistake cost SNCF almost $70 million. Apparently, the error happened when the RFF, the rail network operator, measured platforms that had been built 30 years ago. They thought it was a one-size-fits-all situation, not taking into account the stations and platforms that were much older and smaller than that.
Number 3. Neighborhood built on an abandoned mine. Year, 2020. Location, South Dakota, America. Company, Dakota Plaster Company. Estimated damage value, $10 to $15 million. When purchasing a home, you may want to double-check with the realtor that it's not built on a large, cavernous, abandoned mine. A group of South Dakota residents didn't check when they shelled out a fortune for their gorgeous, newly built houses back in 2014. Outlets like Viacom CBS soon picked up the story and it went viral. One resident was mowing his lawn when the sinkhole suddenly appeared. 12 families were later evacuated. Investigators discovered that a huge 600 feet long gypsum mine was situated directly underneath the properties, rendering them completely unsafe and utterly worthless. Albert Wright spoke to the local news station and explained, "I felt suction behind me and a little bit of movement under my feet. I looked behind me and I was only a foot away from it." Wrights alerted the rest of the neighborhood, giving others time to get to safety.
Number 4. The Noah N. Prime satellite drop. Year, 2003. Location, Sunnyvale, California. Company, Lockheed Martin Space Systems. Estimated damage value, $135 million. Back in 2003, workers at Lockheed Martin Space Systems in Sunnyvale were moving the Noah N. Prime satellite to a different position when it fell off of its plate and onto the floor, causing $135 million in damages. Why? Someone forgot to secure it with the required 24 bolts prior to lifting it. In order to remedy the embarrassing event, Lockheed Martin gracefully said they wouldn't take any profit from the build to pay for the repair costs. They also covered a further $30 million, while the rest of the costs were shouldered by the United States government, which didn't go down well.
Number 5. Priceless Elias Martinez painting ruined forever. Year, 2012. Location, Eastern Spain. Company, restoration done by Cecilia Gimenez. Estimated damage value, priceless. Artwork is sometimes so rare and priceless that it's hard to truly pinpoint how expensive they are. Back in 2012, the world was shaken when an elderly Spanish do-gooder took it upon themselves to restore Ecce Homo by Elias Garcia Martinez. When staff happened to check on the painting of Christ in the Santuario de Misericordia, they were horrified to discover what had been done to it. Although the restoration was thought to be done out of kindness, the result is entirely bad. Martinez's work was changed beyond all recognition, turning Jesus from a religious figure into something resembling a monkey. Although the identity of the woman responsible was largely shrouded in mystery for some time, it soon came out that Monkey Christ was the work of 82-year-old Cecilia Gimenez. In a documentary on the subject she explained, "I thought I knew how to restore it, but the paint ran.
Number 6. The Rena Monrovia cargo spill. Year, 2011. Location, Astrolabe Reef, New Zealand. Company, Dana Shipping, a subsidiary of Costa Mare. Estimated damage value, $108 million asterisk. While some mistakes can be put down to structural damage or other events that can't be helped, oftentimes disasters can be avoided. Take the case of the Rena Monrovia container ship. The vessel was on a voyage when it struck New Zealand's Astrolabe Reef and ran aground in 2011. The cargo spilled into the ocean, while the ship itself was largely totaled as it had been traveling at full speed. It cost the company $240 million to clear up the mess, and it was all because the master and crew didn't look where they were going. Something tells us they didn't get to keep their jobs. The official report put the incident down to navigation errors. The ship itself lay unrecovered in its position for quite some time. By 2012, it had broken in two after being battered by constant bad weather, with the stern of the ship sinking a couple of days later.
Number 7, Deepwater Horizon. Year, 2010. Location, Gulf of Mexico. Company, BP. Estimated damage value, $65 billion. There are fewer disasters more prolific than Deepwater Horizon. On April 20, 2010, the drilling rig exploded, resulting in the biggest oil spill on record. 94 workers were rescued from the rig, but the fire lasted for days. The tanker itself sank 2 days later, but still the damage wasn't done. The oil spill had a huge impact on the environment around the Gulf of Mexico. BP had to pay big money to try and rectify the situation, bringing the total bill to upward of $65 billion. The entire disaster was so unprecedented that no one knew how to deal with it on a financial or environmental scale. Transocean paid $1.4 billion as a result of violating the U.S. Clean Water Act, while BP faced charges of billions, not only in penalties but in compensation.
Number 8. NASA loses a satellite. Year, 1999. Location, outer space. Company, NASA. Estimated damage value, $125 million. Imagine pouring years into a piece of complex machinery, only for it to finally make it into space, then disintegrate into nothing. NASA was devastated when they invested $125 million on the Mars Climate Orbiter in the 1990s only to see it burn up. The worst part? It was because one team was using the metric system, while another was using the imperial system. Imagine pouring years into a piece of complex machinery, only for it to finally make it into space, then disintegrate into nothing. NASA was devastated when they invested $125 million on the Mars Climate Orbiter in the 1990s only to see it burn up. The worst part? It was because one team was using the metric system, while another was using the imperial system. Number 9. Computerized baggage handling at Denver Airport, 2005. Year, 2005. Location, Denver, Colorado, USA. Company, United Airlines, Incorporated. Estimated damage value, $410 million. As the New York Times put it, though Denver Airport saw the future, that future didn't work. The Denver International Airport Baggage Handling System, as it was called in the official investigative case study, was a computerized system that completely failed when it was introduced, causing delays and damage to customers' bags for months. The system was scrapped the same year it was introduced. The automated system was set to replace airport workers. Software failures caused the baggage claim to eat people's luggage. The designers of the network underestimated the complexity of the project. They didn't add recovery capacity and backup, so the system was unable to cope with and reboot after failures.
Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed these. Don't forget to check out my other videos. And in the meantime, have a lovely day.